everybody. It's good to see you. I know it's been a while. I know most of you know I moved this summer, which involved packing up my condo, selling my condo, and driving 5 hours away. So I now live in the Okanagan. We're in Summerland. You can see I'm in my new office space. This is not my whole yarn stash. I'm looking at it in the monitor, and it's not my whole yarn stash, but it is enough of it to make me very happy. So yeah, welcome to our new space. I'm very excited. I thought this would be a really good time to kind of get back into podcasting now that we're a little bit more settled and we have a bit of a schedule sort of worked out at least. So for those of you who are new here and haven't seen this before, welcome to the channel. My name is Kelsey. I am the co-owner and principal dyer at K-Zip Knits. I also design knitwear, not the thing I'm wearing, but I'm also a pattern designer as well. So what I thought I'd do today is I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm wearing and the yarn I used for it, but then we had a very exciting thing here in BC this last weekend. We had Knit City Mini, and those of you who are from Canada, particularly Western Canada, and up on the fiber world know that this is a really big deal to those of us who love all things fiber. So we'll get into that, and I'll show you what I got while we were there, and I'll tell you a bit about the experience. So to start off, I am wearing my fairly newly completed, I knit this for Knit City. This is my Manu sweater, and it's by Isabel Kramer. I love it. It's got a little bit of color work at the bottom. I'm digging it very much. It's knit in a DK weight. I knit it in our own yarn because I wanted to have it as a sample for Knit City. So I knit it in our BFL Massam, which is, we call it Myra Canyon, and it's a DK weight. It is non-superwash, so it is not the greatest yarn if you are not into hand washing, but for those of you who are willing to take that little bit of extra time and care, totally worth it. I brought a couple colors so that way you can see the heathering on it a little bit. The Massam is brown underneath, so it gives it a little bit of a heathering when you dye over top of it. But it is a favorite of mine, and you can see it dyes up beautifully with like the subtle variegation. I'm wearing the colors. Purple is called Aubergine, and then the kind of grayish brown color is called Doe-Eyed, so that's what those are. I have my tea off to the side, so I will be sipping on this periodically as well, since I don't have a buddy to give me a break from talking. So I thought I would do kind of, this is what happened in Knit City, this is how exciting it was, and all of that for you. Alright, I've grabbed my notes, because I had to take notes, because there was just so much that happened this weekend. We dyed, as a business, K-Zip Knits. We didn't dye all 1,000 skeins to take to Knit City, but we dyed a lot of that, probably about 700, 800 skeins of that we had to dye to take to Knit City with us. But that still didn't stop me from shopping, strangely. I'll throw in some pictures of our booth and what it looked like so you have an idea, but how Knit City was structured is they set up 4 different, to keep it COVID safe, they had 4 different entry blocks. So you could purchase a 3.5 hour window to come and hang out and shop at there was about 45, 50 vendors, pardon me. And it was just so good. It was so good. I didn't realize just how much I missed being around yarny people and being around fiber and being able to, like, the tactile part of being able to touch fiber and yarn and like to see what everybody's wearing. You know, we'd be standing in our booth, and my friend Sarah, hi Sarah, who helped us out for the weekend, you'd be standing there and you'd be like, oh, what's that pattern? I want that pattern. What's that pattern? Oh, what's that pattern? And I forgot how much I really missed that and how inspiring that can be to my own knitting and my own designing, and it was so, I felt so uplifted and just very cleansed, I guess you could say. I just felt so content after the weekend. I was exhausted, but I was content. It was great. I know after the first day at the market, we were staying at my in-laws, and I was trying to talk to them, and she's like, your voice is so hoarse. And I was like, yeah, it's really tired. I haven't done this much talking in like since pre-COVID. So so that just tells you how exciting it was to see people. And I hugged I think 2 or 3 people that were not my husband. And that was kind of nice, I gotta say. So I thought I would bring in my Rolly pile of doom, because I still managed to do some shopping and some damage while I was in Knit City. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the things I got and some of the stuff that we saw there. I've already cast on some of the yarn. Didn't take me very long. So I'm planning on hopefully doing, if you guys are up for it, at least hopefully, to do a more knitting based podcast again, as well as getting back to some of the interview style podcasts that I've done in the past. So if there's content you would like to see, do let me know. You can comment down below, shoot me an email, Instagram, any of those things. But let's dive in to my Knit City haul. So I'm gonna just put my notes, where should I put my notes? I'm gonna just put them on the shelf there. So I'm gonna start with the thing off the top, which I apologize in advance. It's a little bit dirty because I've been wearing it since the day I bought it. Hopefully you can't see the dog nose snoodles. We call them snoodles. My in-laws have a puppy who I couldn't stop holding when I was over there, and so there's like some dog nose business over here as well as fur. This is my Longway Homestead hoodie, and it's got this like you probably can't see it on the camera, but it's got like that fuzzy polar fleecy style stuff on the lining. Longway Homestead is a farm and a mill and dyer. It's a whole family run thing out in Manitoba, Canada. And Anna, who owns Longway Homestead, she used to own Bad Anna's in Vancouver. So she gave up yarn store, brick and mortar store life for farm life. And they have a small flock of sheep, and she grows all of their own dyes for natural dyeing in their garden. And she also runs something called a sponsor sheep program, which I have been a member of along with my friend Karen and Catherine for the last 4 years now. I'll throw in a picture of our sheep, Selena, we've been sponsoring. She's a beautiful Shetland sheep, and she's 4. Is she 4 now? I'm gonna have to double check that. I've gotten 3 batches of her wool now, so she would be 4 because we haven't gotten her 4th shear yet. I think that's how it works. Anyways, you should totally check out Longway Homestead. Check out her website. She gives you a lot of really interesting information about sheep farming, the actual cost of wool, from everything from the cost of raising the sheep to the water used, everything down to what it costs from being on the sheep to the spun ball of stuff in your hand. And it's really interesting. And they take a very natural approach to everything, and use as little chemical intervention and whatnot as possible. Anyways, I love Anna. I love her farm. I love my sheep that she looks after so beautifully. And so I had to get this hoodie. I was due for a hoodie, and now I have a really cool hoodie. So I'm very excited about it. So check out Anna at Longway Homestead. And I'll put links to everything down below, so that way if you want to check out their Instagrams, if you need good animal content in your feed, definitely follow Anna from Longway Homestead, because you get lots of sheep. They have a couple llamas. It's just great. So I'm just gonna throw stuff on the floor in front of me because that seems like the easy thing to do. Next up, Pom-Pom City. So if you're ever looking for pom-poms, I highly recommend Janet the Yarn Boler. She has the cutest logo, by the way. I'm gonna see if I can put it up here. Janet, your logo is amazing. I love it. She makes these incredible faux fur pom-poms. I have so many of them. I think there's more up here that you can't see, but I have bought pom-poms from her for years now, and she is so clever. She adds these snaps. You can get snaps or ties. I have both, which is great because you can, if you want to match your pom-pom to your mood, you can get like 5 different colored pom-poms. I got mostly, except for this kind of tealy one this time around, I got mostly kind of natural faux fur pom-poms, but she has done like neon ones in the past. She has like blues and pinks and purples and reds. So I highly recommend checking her stuff out. She is just a lovely human being. And she makes amazing pom-poms, which I just love. So I'm really looking forward to knitting some hats this fall because I need them now where we live, and throwing these guys on them. So those are very cool. I'm very excited about those. And she was also collaborating with another vendor. She shared a booth with Amanda Kafka of the Crafty Jackalope at Knit City, but she does a lot of collaborations with other dyers as well as other podcasters and whatnot. And one that she did that I couldn't resist was with Everlea Yarn. It's a little baby booty kit, and it comes with the pattern on the back and everything. So there's 2 little pom-poms, and then it's a little bit, it's coming undone because it's been in my bag and out and stuff. But Everlea Yarn was also a vendor at Knit City, and she dyes all of her yarns. I think I'll double check my information, but I think all of her yarn bases are organic. But then all of her dyes are either plant-based or from bugs, which I think is kind of cool. It's a little bit like when you think, ooh, bugs, but it's actually really cool. And you'd be surprised how often certain bugs are actually used in a lot of food dyes that we use. But I thought this was super cute. It's enough yarn to make a pair of baby booties, and I couldn't resist. It was so cute. And it was a really good, like, it was super economical too. I think it was $15 or $16, and you get the 2 little pom-poms, you get the yarn and the pattern. Also Jana at Everlea is just lovely. So also check them both out because they're both excellent. I should also give a special shout out to the yarn bowler, Janet. She knew it was my birthday leading up to Knit City, and she knew that I loved this dog bag. She hasn't really been making bags lately. But she knew that I loved this dog bag, and she gave it to me. So Janet, thank you. I love it. And it's like the perfect size for putting a sweater in. And it's a nice thick canvas. So I can't get enough project bags, and this is just like, this just makes me happy. So thank you. Speaking of project bags, Jenny from Larch Designs was kind of across in kitty corner to us. The very first yarn show I ever did, where I was paired with Puzzle Tree Yarns. Hi Becca! We were across from Jenny from Larch, and I hadn't met Jenny in person, but we had exchanged messages and stuff. And I love Jenny, I love Kate, her booth mate at Fidley Dyeworks, and Jenny's bags are just the bomb. Like, most of my project bag collection are Jenny's bags. So I managed to leave Knit City with only 2 this time around. I got this one because it has oak leaves on it, and I love oak leaves. Also, I really love blue. They have these really awesome leather handles, which I think is really cool. And then she puts these little leather details on the zipper, so they're easy to open and close. Her logo's really cool too. I'm not sure if she still does arbor work, but she used to work with like trees and whatnot. So I got that one, and then I got this one, which is really cool. Look at the inside. How fun is that? One thing I love about Jenny's bags are these wrist things that she puts on them. If you saw me at Knit City, I had like a little one. It was only about this big. It's about the size of 1 cake of yarn. And I have used that every time I've done like a yarn show, or even when I used to work at the yarn store, because I could have it on my wrist and I could walk around and still be knitting and talking. The little one is like perfect for that, and I can't imagine, you just have to be careful, because the one thing that I found that I did a lot over Knit City is I'd be standing in one spot, so I'd like pull out tons of yarn because I was working on this sock, and then I'd get like distracted, you know, like, squirrel, there's a pretty thing, or there's somebody I want to talk to, and I'd have pulled out so much yarn and like trip over it. But her bags are amazing. Definitely check them out. She doesn't do updates on her website super often, but if you're on the West Coast, mark Fibers West in your calendars, because her and Kate from Fidley will be back, and they are a match made in heaven, and I love her bags. So yes, I have a lot of her bags, but they're so good. They're so good. Yeah, we're gonna switch pace now away from pom-poms to yarn, because I did get yarn. I promise I got yarn. I got a lot of yarn. Let's be honest. I got too much yarn, but it's so good. I'm going to start first with West Coast Color. So these are just the ones that I don't have on needles because I've already cast on a couple colors already for some colorwork mitts. I told my husband at one point, I was like, Chris, you need to take a break. Go walk around. Go pick yourself out a ball of yarn and I'll make you something out of it. So he picked out this one from Lynn at West Coast Color. So West Coast Color is based in Tappan, British Columbia. So it's just kind of, just as you're heading to, you're not quite in the Rockies yet, but it's headed up that way. And they have a farm and a lot of Rambouillet sheep. So this is 100% Rambouillet. And then this is another, I picked out this one for some color work that I'm doing. So I got also for myself a skein of this in kind of a dark mulberry color and then like a mustard yellow and then this green. So I might end up using some of the green with Chris's blue. We'll see. But I highly recommend. Lynn is just lovely. You're gonna probably be sick of hearing me say, oh, these people are lovely, but they really genuinely are. It's another reason why I want to support them, because they have helped encourage and support me as I get K's of Knits kind of up and going full time. So, but I just love their yarns and I stand behind their products, and I wouldn't be here recommending them if I didn't. So yeah, anyways, West Coast Color. Highly recommend. I love too, she has here, I don't know if you can see on the label, but she has like a picture of the sheepies. But their yarn's very cool. Their fiber's really cool. Highly recommend their stuff as well. They also have, I didn't see any because I was kind of like one track minded when I was at their booth. They have sometimes some California Variegated Mutant, which I also adore. As a fiber to work with. So check those out. If those are breeds that you're not as familiar with, both Rambouillet, I'll put it across here so you know how to spell it, and California Variegated Mutant. I know it sounds like it should be something from like a cartoon or comic book, but it's a breed of sheep. Highly recommend checking them out because they are lovely. So on the other kitty corner from us, not where Jenny and Kate were, was a company called Wool and Waves. They're an online yarn store based in or on Vancouver Island. They were new to me. I've heard the name before, but I'd never shopped from them before. And they had a lot of kind of more rustic yarns. They also have a few really interesting indie dyers as well. But one thing I saw that I've never tried before, this is a new to me yarn, is Peace Fleece, which some of you may have heard of. It's made in the States. It's got a little bit of mohair in it. So it's Rambouillet, which as you guys are probably learning, I'm a big fan of. And then it's got 25% of domestic fine wool mohair. So it says it's about a worsted gauge. Looking at the ply on it, I'm thinking, it'll probably have worsted to Erin. Anyways, this one I really loved because it has all this beautiful heathering in it, which I am a fan of. And then this one has a little bit of that kind of heathering, but a little less prominent. So I was thinking that these might need to be some cool colorwork mitts. I don't know if I'll find it too. I mean, I can do pretty scratchy, but not, I don't know. We'll see. I might have to knit up like a little test thing and stick it in a toque and see. I sometimes find mohair a little bit hard to wear. For whatever, I can do scratchy wools, but not mohair for some reason. But it might, I picked colors that I thought might also work for my brother who lives in Saskatchewan, which is much colder than the Okanagan in the winter. So this might like good colors for him as well. So, but I just wanted to try it out. It's an economical yarn, and it's a fun blend. So I'm excited to knit with this and to report back on what I think about it. Just from the aesthetic and the squish factor, I like it a lot, but who knows what it will be like when I knit with it. But you know, on a thing, it's happy. Oh, I should tell you the name of I was just noticing now, I didn't even look at the names of the colorways for this one. The green heathered one is called Gonna Be Alright. And this really fun flecky colored one is called Grassroots. So yeah, I'm excited to try out a yarn that I've never tried out before. So I think that will be really exciting. So yes. I am on a sock kick lately, specifically a DK sock kick, and it's really hard to find DK sock yarn that is indie dyed. I find you can find a lot of like Opal does the commercial one, Regia does, I think Regia does one. Does Regia do one? Now that I said that, I don't know if they do. Anyways, I know Opal does. I have like Opal DK yarn. I have a couple Norwegian brands that I bought several years ago when I was in Norway that are a DK weight sock yarn. But it's hard to find indie dyed yarn. And the only booth aside from ours that I found, now I might have missed, so I apologize in advance if you guys had DK weight sock yarn and I missed it, but was Rosehill Yarns. And I adore their colors. Their colorways are really beautiful. Aesthetically, how they do them up, it's just like, it's an eyeball feast. So I came away with not one, not two, but 3 skeins of DK sock yarn from them, and a little mini, because I decided that this gorgeousness needed some green with it. So it's called, this colorway, this red and green one is called A is for Apple. And so I thought it needed this dark green to be like some fun contrast to a teal. So I think this could double as like a fall / festive combo. So I'm very excited about these ones. I got this one, which is called Barn Owl. And if you are familiar with me at all, you probably know that I really like owls. So there's that one. I'm gonna put those down there so I don't show them to you again. And then I like this one. This one reminded me of a mallard duck because it's got like that kind of bluey green. It comes across a little bit dark on the film, but it's kind of a bluey green. Maybe on this end it'll come across better. There we go. Kind of a bluey green there, and then like the nice reddish oranges there. But it's actually called Hot Chocolate Picnic. So, and that's from Rosehill Yarns. I'd never met them in person before. Robin, the dyer, wasn't there, so she sent her husband and David, and I think it was her mom or mom-in-law, I can't remember. But they're both very lovely to talk to, and as I said, I've been a fan of her colorways for a long time, so it was nice to be able to go somewhere and get some kind of more, not one of a kind, but like uniquely dyed sock yarn that's DK, because I need thicker socks now that I live where we actually get winter. We get winter in the Okanagan. Go figure. Vancouver, if it snowed, didn't last very long. Here, you get snow, it might actually stick around and it might actually get below freezing. We'll take a break from yarn. I was going to show you this, but we're going to sidestep yarn again for a minute, because another vendor that was close to us and is someone I've known for a long time, I've already got stuff in her tins, is Firefly Notes. So Sandy from Firefly Notes does these gorgeous tins, and her art design on them all is just amazing. There's a little penguin, or not penguins, flamingos. And I got this bluebird one. I don't know if my camera will focus. And then this one, which has some cool foliage on it. So I have loved her tins for a long time. They do, as I throw them around, they do like a slide top thing, and they have a really firm snap or kind of like seal on them. One thing I like to keep one of her little ones in each of my project bags, so that way I always have stitch markers with me. They work good. I've even used them when I've gone on like on vacation back when I used to do that before COVID. I would put, like, if I had like a couple pairs of earrings I was taking long, I would put them in one of these because they seal really nice. Then you don't have to worry about like your jewelry box opening or anything like that. And I mean, you can use these too as like medicine things if you're throwing Tylenol or Advil in your bag. So I really like her tins. The other thing I really like about this kind of a notion, this style of a notion tin, is that unlike the ones that have zippers or zipper pulls on them, is I always find that my yarn gets like tangled on them, or they get like slid underneath the like round part of your zipper, and then you're like trying to get it out without damaging the yarn. That doesn't happen on these because there's nothing for your yarn to kind of get under or get hooked on. So that's something I really like about these. I own a lot of them. This is a very small assortment of what I actually own. But Sandy, you do great work, so thanks. Thanks for these. I'm very excited. I have I have 3 new project bags, so I have 3 new little ones, and then I couldn't resist a big one because I'm a sucker. And my ring light just went off. So I will be back and turn my battery back on. One moment. I had to find a new battery pack. And I had to move the camera so I could get out of the room. So if it's not exactly where it was before, or if my background looks like it's shifted, I am sorry. Maybe I'll have to like stick a thing up here that's like, this is the center of your camera in future. Anyways, so I just finished talking about Firefly Notes. Check her out. Her stuff is amazing. I have 2 more yarns to show you that I picked up. So first up, I'll talk about Fidley Dyeworks. So she's the one that was part of Jenny of Larch Designs. So I got this cool speckled one called Dustin. And then I got this gorgeous bluey black one called Logan. And these are a worsted weight, but the ply on it is just like, I don't know if you can see how curly it is. It's like, it's just divine. I love it. But I'm thinking what I might do, it's a worsted weight, but I'm thinking of knitting it on a bit of a tighter gauge and then doing like an inside, like something like a muscle burra hat by Isolde. So that way I can have a blue hat with the Dustin speckled brim or vice versa. Just 'cause I think they look really cool together. So that's kind of the plan. We'll see if it happens, but that was my plan when I bought it. Kate's just lovely in her colors and her aesthetic. Like you go into her booth and you just look at it all and you're like, whoa, everything looks so pretty and it all goes together. So I really appreciate, there's something about going into a booth where everything all, like, even though it's a wide range of colors and a big palette, there's something about how they curate it and lay it out and stuff that just makes you excited to go and like squish the things and buy the yarn, touch the yarn, all that jazz. So I'm very excited to do these. And also I haven't knit with an worsted weight lately, so this will be a nice little departure from what I have been doing. So yay! The other yarn that I picked up was from Crafty Jack's Boutique. So they're based in the Lower Mainland as well. And Katrina is the kind of main dyer and person behind, artist, I guess you could say, behind Crafty Jack's, and she's just lovely, and her knowledge comes from a long love affair with spinning and working with fiber as opposed to necessarily knitting. Not that she doesn't knit as well, but she has a different appreciation for fiber, I think, than people who start out knitting and don't have the background in spinning. I feel like from the little bit of spinning that I've done, I've grown to appreciate the differences between different fibers and different breeds a lot more, because you are constantly thinking about, well, how curly is the yarn or the fiber that I'm using? How slippery is it? How long is it? All these things that as a knitter, you're just kind of like, well, does it feel good? Does it look good? That kind of thing. There's more to think about, I think, in some ways when you're learning about spinning fiber. But her fiber knowledge has crossed over into her realm of yarn. One of those yarns being her Targi, which is what they use for their sock base. So it's I think it's a 90%. Let me double check that. It is, of course I can't find it because I'm on film. Where? Oh, it's on the front. So it's 90% superwash Targi and 10% nylon, and it's called Tough and Tender Sock. Now I've actually knit a sweater out of this yarn before, not these colors, but out of this yarn. And there's just, it's got like this like squish factor, like, you know how like when you squish a pillow or like a marshmallow and it kind of goes like this, but then comes back right away? That's what this yarn has. It has this like super kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like, it's like memory foam, but it comes back a lot faster. And it's very satisfying. It's kind of like bubble wrap and how satisfying it is to squish. But I got 2 colorways from them. I got one from their Giving Back series, where $5 from each skein purchased goes back to one of the 4 charities that they support. You can check those out on their website. And this colorway is called Through the Darkness. So it's like a dark kind of chocolatey brown, almost black, with all these hits of these tweedy flecks of color. So I'm super excited to knit this one up. And then the other one I got is called Frosty Fall. And normally I don't know that I normally would necessarily go towards this for myself, but I love knitting socks out of things that are like kind of a little wild like this. So I'm excited to make a pair of socks, and they'll either be for myself or be gifted at some point. But so I'm super excited for these. If you haven't checked out Crafty Jacks, you should. They are, it's just a different experience in terms of your yarn shopping, because the fibers are so different, and you can tell she's put a ton of thought into her bases that she's chosen, and her colors too. They have, the one thing that they do that's a little bit unique is they have knitted swatches of every single colorway they bring pretty well. So if you're like, huh, I love this and this, but how does it knit up? Or I'm not sure about this. But sometimes when you look at a highly variegated yarn, when you actually see it knit up, you're like, wow, that's actually really cool. So they have swatches of all their colors. So you can go on their website and shop by swatch, which is kind of cool. So, and they're just lovely. Katrina and her husband Eric, who always helps out with their booth. And then her mom Judy is also involved in the process as well. So it's very cool. I always enjoy going to their booth and talking to them, and they have been super encouraging to me as a dyer, because they have a little bit more experience than I do. So it's cool. That's one thing I really appreciate about Knit City, and meeting all the different dyers and like reconnecting with ones I haven't seen now in a couple of years because of COVID. It's been a really great chance to kind of feel rejuvenated and be like, okay, yeah, no, I'm going about things right, and I feel more confident, I guess, coming away from it, and our decision to kind of quit our day jobs and do this full time. Because it's a little bit daunting to be like, okay, we both quit our jobs and now we're here. Oh, that's a scary thought, but it's a good one. So, yeah, but that's my Knit City haul. If you guys have questions, if you have things you want me to cover, if you want to know what I'm making, I will try to start doing these kind of things a little bit more regularly. I'm thinking we're going to switch it up a bit. So, maybe once in a while it'll be like, hey, this is what I'm knitting. I'll talk about that. Once in a while it'll be an interview. Maybe we'll do like an in behind the scenes at the studio, or a yarn or a product feature. So if you have things you would like to see or things you would like to know about, please let me know. We do also, if you are not already, you can go onto our website, kzipknits.com. If you join our subscription, our newsletter subscription, we don't email very often. It's like every 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes not even that often. You will get some sneak previews of colorways that are coming out. Sometimes you'll get early access as well as coupon codes and stuff as well. So if that is important to you, feel free to join that. Also, I do run testing calls often through our Ravelry group. So if you want to sample a pattern before it comes out, tell me what I did wrong, you're welcome to do that as well. We have a lot of fun over on our Ravelry page, which is just ravelry.com/kzipknits. And you can also find us on Instagram at kzipknits. We'll get Chris on here again one of these days, but for now, that's all I've got. So I hope you guys are all doing really well and enjoying the start of fall weather if you're in the northern hemisphere. We saw snow on some of the mountains when we were driving back from Knit City, so it's definitely sweater weather. I have to go make some apple pies for Thanksgiving now, so bye everybody.